Do you ever feel like no matter how much sleep you get, you still wake up exhausted? Or maybe your mind just won't turn off at night, or your shoulders feel like they've been carrying like 100 pounds of bricks for months. If this sounds familiar, you might not just be stressed. What you actually might be experiencing is a dysregulated nervous system. And here's the thing. When your nervous system is stuck in overdrive, it quietly takes the driver's seat of your entire life, your energy, your emotions, even your physical health. In today's episode, we're talking about the 5 most common signs of nervous system dysregulation and what to do about it. These are things so many of us dismiss as normal in modern life, but they're actually red flags your body's begging you to pay attention to. And because I've lived this myself, I ignored the signs until stress literally caused me to have a stroke. I've created a way to help women catch this before it's gone that far. And at the end of today's episode, I'll share with you how you could join my new gentle self-care nervous system reset. It's an intimate coaching experience that I'm opening right now with limited spots. It's built to help you finally feel safe in your body, regulate your energy, and find joy again without the guilt. And it's very, very easy to implement. So if you've been wondering why you feel so drained, why you feel so foggy or disconnected, this episode might just give you the clarity and the hope that you've been needing. Let's get into it. You're listening to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. I'm your host, Tina Stinson, and I had a stroke at the age of 39 from stress and burnout that shook my world. Now I'm laying it all out, the deep level self-care practices and mindset shifts that I needed that kept me healthy, balanced, and thriving. Join me in this intimate space as we explore healing, resilience, and the soul's journey to alignment. This is where real conversations about deep-level self-care happen. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. Thanks for joining me today. For those of you who come back week after week, I appreciate you and I love spending time with you. And for anyone who's new, welcome. This week, we are talking all about 5 signs your nervous system is dysregulated and how to heal yourself. Now, just getting into it, this podcast is kind of like coming off the heels of last week's podcast where I talked about how self-care is not solo and women need other women, other groups of women, whether that be friends or in business or wherever, just spending more time in groups of women supporting each other at this time. And this is kind of like on the same topic of that, except we're going into how to heal your nervous system. Hustle culture glorifies busyness like it's the gold standard for success. Women wear it like a badge of honor. Now, not all women. When I talk, I'm just saying most, I'm just kind of going by what I see and the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis and my own experience. But I do see this is like the normal, like the more you do, the more selfless you are. You can work yourself to death, give, never give to yourself. The perfect example of this is the visual that I always have of the busy mom with the little kids eating the leftovers from the lunch, like the leftover, like half-eaten, like chicken nuggets and French fries or whatever's left over on the plates and not making any time for herself in any way, shape, or form. That's always like the visual I get of the mom sitting over the sink eating the crumbs. I mean, we've all done it, right? So, but here's the truth. Being constantly exhausted is not a badge of honor. It's a warning sign. And women, more than ever, are paying the price with burnout, overwhelm, and a complete disconnect from any joy whatsoever. And I want to kind of, I guess, convince you to practice daily self-care. That's been my goal all along when I've doing this podcast and the work that I do. But it's more about, when we get down to it, I call it deep level self-care, but this is about regulating your nervous system. This is about getting out of that fight or flight, freeze, fawn, whatever you're in, and kind of stepping into a state of calm, Rest and digest is what they call it. But it's a state of calm. It's to give you a path. Today I want to talk about a path towards burnout recovery. And we'll explore how to reset the nervous system and to start to normalize daily self-care. And I feel like all women need to do this. Men need to do this too, but men, I have to just say, they're a lot better at putting themselves first. They just are. But anyway, women's another point that I want to make. Women's unpaid and unnoticed labor upholds a system that does not serve any of us in any way. It is the glue, it is the fabric that holds our society together right now. If women stopped doing all of their unpaid labor, they stopped making babies, and they stopped consuming, the world would come to a stop. Women make up 85% of the consumers. We have a lot of control here, ladies, like a lot. Like, we're making the babies, we do most of the unpaid labor, and we spend most of the money. But this unpaid, unnoticed labor, it upholds a system, the patriarchy, that does not serve women in any way. And it's time to put ourselves first so we can choose where we direct our energy, whether it's to ourselves or to other people we love. We need to make it our choice and not some kind of pressurized expectation from society. So how often do you say yes to things because they're socially expected of you, or because you're afraid of some kind of judgment you're going to get? Whether you're going to get that judgment or not, you are placing that judgment. You're assuming that you're going to get that judgment. Or you want to uphold a stereotype, that selfless woman hero stereotype that just makes you look good to a society that has this fucked up expectation, right? That it was created really to suppress us as women, because if we're worn out, exhausted, we can't really step into our power. We were told that giving our everything to everyone else will be celebrated, but this actually stops us from stepping into our true selves and sharing that version of us with the world, which is what we're supposed to do. We're all very unique beings, and we're here to show up and share that version, that authentic, true version of ourselves with the world. And I would go as far to say that this alone is our purpose. This is our only purpose, to show up as our authentic selves, enjoy ourselves, follow the joy, right? We are all one puzzle piece that fits into the big, beautiful puzzle of the world. And we all know how annoying it is to have a puzzle with a missing piece. So, isn't it kind of your job, your duty, your purpose, whatever you want to call it, to take care of your beautiful self and fit yourself into the inner workings of the world? That's what you're here for. And you're the only one that could do it. I'm not saying don't care for your loved ones, okay? Whenever I start talking about putting yourself first, people get all like, oh my God. So if you just like sucked the air out of the room and clutched your pearls when I say put yourself first, then this is for you to pay attention to. This isn't about being selfish and not taking care of other people. What I'm saying is, it's your time and energy, and you only get to decide what to do with. Not society, not your partner, not work, not those hovering expectations, just you. And until you start putting yourself first and filling your cup first, you can't really take care of other people at your highest level. You can't really put yourself into your career, job, whatever you want to call it. You can't really show up for your kids, your partner, your friends, your family the way you want to. You're half-assing it. You need to put yourself first in order to show up as the best version of yourself. So take charge of these most precious assets, or someone else is going to do it for you. Your time and your energy, your most precious assets. Be intentional with the way you spend your time and who you allow into your energy field. Today, I want to talk about how to step out of the cycle of doing it all and start building a life that feels sustainable, doable, calm, and yes, still deeply successful. So the myth, this big myth of doing it all, having it all, whatever. I truly believe we can have it all as long as we shift the expectations, as long as you shift away from the expectation that society has put on you, which is impossible to reach, right? Creating your own expectations, not someone else's. We've been sold the idea that we're supposed to be carrying everything, the career, the family, relationships, home, health, and more. And we do it all by ourselves. And we can't juggle that perfectly. We're made to feel like failures if we don't do it perfectly, which is pretty much all the time. When I was a single mom with 3 kids, I 100% felt like a failure all the time. I felt like I was failing every single day because what I was doing was completely impossible for one person. There's a reason they say that cheesy saying, it takes a village. That's because originally that's how we did it. We were in these communities where we were with our family members and we were helping each other raise our children. Okay, this was the normal. This is normal for human beings. But we've moved away from that. We've spread out in the world. We're all over the place. Our families aren't together anymore. And this changes things. So we have to kind of reassess what we can and cannot do. Okay. Like I said, I felt like a failure 100% of the time. I felt like I was half-assing everything and not doing anything up to par. This is by design to make us feel like we're missing something, or we just need to adjust a few more things, or we just need to try a little bit harder. And we'll get that. We'll reach that magic place. So we're always trying. We're on that hamster wheel, but we never really get to that point. But we're putting so much energy, time, and everything we've got into it. It's sucking the life out of us. We keep trying to reach this impossible place. Instead, you need to decide what you want and how you want to spend your time, and keep society and everyone else trying to tell you what you should want out of your business. None of their business. But one thing for sure is exhaustion is not proof of worthiness. I just want to point that out. The amount that you do is not proof of your worthiness. You are worthy just because you're here. You are. You are you. Like, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to work hard in order to enjoy yourself. You need to just enjoy yourself. Doing does not equal worthiness. The truth is, pushing harder comes at the cost of your body, your mind, and your spirit. Chronic overwhelm doesn't make you more accomplished. It makes you less present. Right? When you're exhausted and you're running on empty, you're not yourself. Think about it. And we're going to talk more about some of the signs when you're feeling that way. But you're not yourself. So you're not present. You're not completely present. When you're not present, you're not showing up for your kids. You're not showing up for your partner, your friends, your family. You're not showing up for your business. You're not showing up for your work, right? You're not showing up for anything. You're not showing up for yourself. Real success it's not about doing it all. It's about doing what matters to you. This is what I'm talking about. What matters to you? If what matters to you is raising a family, and that's it, then that is your success. Screw it, what everybody else thinks. If your definition of success is you don't want to have kids, you want to start your own business, or you want to volunteer all of your time to an animal shelter, and then you do that. You volunteer every ounce of your time to an animal shelter, and that is your definition of success. Then you're successful. So you get to define what that means. And you need to do it in a way that's sustainable, that you could, enjoy your life. You don't need to prove your strength by running yourself into the ground. One of my definitions of success now in my life is my time freedom. That's how I define success. Not by how much money I make, not by how many clients I have. How much time freedom do I have? Also, location independence, which means I could work from anywhere. I don't have to be in a place. I don't have to show up somewhere at a certain time. Those are my 2 ways that I gauge how successful I am. That's how I define it. Everybody's different. Now, how do you move from burnout to balance and reclaim your joy? This isn't just about being balanced. It's about being happy too, without sacrificing your ambition. Now, I want to go into the definition of the word balance, because there's some people who are like, balance does not exist. And, they're kind of right. It's just how you look at balance, okay? So balance is not some kind of endpoint that you reach where you're like, okay, I'm balanced now and I don't have to do anything. I think of balance as the same way you balance on a bicycle. So you get on the bicycle and you start pedaling. And to keep yourself upright, you have to constantly be shifting your body weight, everything. You have to be paying attention. You have to be looking. You have to be feeling what's going on around you. This is the same as life. So it's not like you can get balance on a bicycle and then you can stop paying attention and just like sit there and the bike just takes you where you want to go, right? It's the same in life. So there's really no such thing as reaching a point of balance as an end point. It's like a lifestyle, if that makes sense. So when some people say, yeah, balance does not exist, I kind of agree with them to a certain degree, but there is a lifestyle of balance where you can continuously work towards being as balanced as possible because you're shifting, you're paying attention, you're taking in all the data and information, and you're using that to strategize your life, right? That's balance. Burnout, something I really want to stress is burnout is not weakness. If anything, it's probably the opposite. It's just the monstrous overworking of yourself. I don't know. I definitely wasn't weak when I suffered from burnout. I'm a very strong person. It's just your body's alarm system. It's just information, and it's flashing red and it's begging you to pay attention, right? We need to pay attention to these signs, or we can lead ourselves into a state of some sort of dis-ease in the body. So I always like pronouncing dis-ease like that because that's what it is, dis-ease in the body, disease, right? This can show up as high blood pressure, weight gain, headaches, exhaustion, insomnia. Sometimes it could show up as something more serious if you ignore it long enough, like it did for me. I had a stroke when I was 39 years old. It could also show up as an autoimmune condition, a heart attack. It can fuel cancer, right? None of us want these things. And here's the secret most people don't realize. Joy, relaxation, and ambition are not opposites. In fact, joy and rest are the fuel that keeps ambition alive without burning you out. When your nervous system is calm, your focus sharpens, your energy rises, and your creativity flows. When you're calm, when you're still, you notice things that you normally wouldn't notice. When you're calm and you're still, things pop into your head that you wouldn't normally hear or pay attention to. You become more productive, if that's what you're looking for. Maybe your form of being productive is not being productive at all. So balance isn't about giving up on success. It's about creating the conditions where success feels sustainable. I have trouble saying that. Sustainable instead of draining. Like what I was talking about earlier, my sign of success is time freedom. Like today, as soon as I finish recording this podcast, I'm done. It's 2:00. I'm done. I'm going to go for a walk, taking my dog with me for a little outing, taking her to the store to get her, pick out a bone. That's the rest of my day. Now, there's some days where I work longer. Some days I don't work at all. But having that time freedom that's my sign of success, being able to do what I want when I want. Okay, now we're going to get into 5 signs that your nervous system is dysregulated. And there's more than 5 signs, but these are just some really common ones, okay? If you're living in like that constant stress mode, you almost don't even know how to feel calm. And when you're like in a state of calm, it almost feels wrong. You feel like you're doing something wrong. Okay, if you feel like that, just pay attention right now. Your body is going to let you know when you're extremely stressed. Here are 5 common signs that your nervous system needs a reset. Racing thoughts or mental fog. You can't turn your mind off or you can't focus at all. And your memory sucks. When I was extremely stressed out, I couldn't remember anything. I would forget my kid's birthday. That's how distracted I was. I was so disconnected. Like I would forget important appointments, picking my kid up from somewhere. Like some of the things I used to forget, I was like, what is wrong with me? And of course I beat myself up about it. All right. But it wasn't really my thought. It was just the reaction. That was the stress on my brain, okay? Another one is poor sleep. I mean, this is obvious. Tossing, turning, waking up tired no matter how much sleep you get. If you're the type of person who wakes up at 3:00 in the morning where you're just like almost like in a state of anxiety, that's a sign of being your nervous system being dysregulated. Because what's happening there is 3 o'clock in the morning is like a normal time for our cortisol to start going up. It's like slowly supposed to go up, so we wake up slowly, right? But what's happening there is you have too much cortisol in your system, and it's like jolting you out of a sleep, right? And so waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning is definitely a sign that your cortisol is high, and which is just meaning that you're under a lot of stress. Irritability or like a numbness. So snapping quickly at the people you love, being very cranky, feeling really disconnected from life or disconnected from your body. I was so disconnected from my body that even physical signs I didn't notice until it was really, really obvious. Like, I didn't realize I was tired until my body would shake. Like, I just was so cued to ignore being tired because I was tired all the time. I mean, think about it. I was working pretty much full time. I had 3 kids under the age of 14, right? And 2 of them were a lot younger. I had a 14-year-old, and then there was like a 6 years in between, a difference between the 2 younger ones who were kind of like Irish twins. But so yeah, I just was completely disconnected. And when I would sit down at the end of the day, I wouldn't notice I was tired during the day. I would sit down and my body would literally shake. And it scared the crap out of me, but I didn't know what it was. And then I figured out, oh, I'm just tired. But I still didn't take that cue as, okay, you need to like de-stress. That was just like, okay, you're tired. So just go to bed. That was it. And then the next day I started over, ignoring that completely. Physical symptoms. This is number 5. So we have racing thoughts, mental fog is 1, poor sleep 2, chronic fatigue, feeling like you're running on fumes all day, you wake up tired. Did I skip that one? I think I skipped that one. Okay, we'll go back to that. Chronic fatigue. That's when you wake up and you feel tired when you wake up. And you just feel like you're running on fumes all day. I just remember always feeling like, when's the next time I could sit down? And then sitting down for like a second and then like getting up. Like you just feel like you're running a marathon all day. And if you've ever run a marathon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Once you get to like mile 20 and you're just like, oh my God, just one more mile. Oh my God, just one more mile. Like that's that feeling of that chronic fatigue. Okay. And I'm not talking about chronic fatigue syndrome, or you may have that also, but I'm just saying like that chronic feeling of being tired, you wake up tired. That's number 3. And then number 4 was I can't say it. Oh my God, I'm not even gonna try to say it. Just being cranky or being disconnected, numb, feeling numb. Okay. Number 5, physical symptoms. So like tension headaches, tight shoulders, upset stomach, shallow breathing, overeating, like to numb everything. That could also show up, numbing could also show up as drinking wine every night, maybe smoking pot. It could be scrolling on social media, doing something that's going to just take your mind somewhere else. You don't want to deal with anything. Okay. So I have to share that I had all of these things and then some, and I made excuses too. Like, oh, you're a single mom and that's just how it is. And then I used to compare myself to other people, being like, oh, this person can do it and so can I. I can do that too, right? And a lot of times when you're seeing somebody else do it, they're not doing it. They feel the same way as you, or they have someone helping them or something. Like when you see someone else doing it and doing it perfectly, it's usually not that way. I remember during this period of time in my life, I had someone say, oh, you're so lucky. Everything is just so perfect for you. Your kids are perfect. Everything's perfect. And she was looking at my Instagram and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, don't you realize that people just only put on Instagram what's good in their life? Do you think I'm going to share with you what's shitty in my life on Instagram? No, thank you. And I just basically told her, I said, my life is not perfect. Nobody has a perfect life. And this is true. Nobody has a perfect life. We all have ups and downs, and we have the downs so we can experience the ups. And this is life. I used to also say, I'm young. My body can take it. I said that one a lot. Or things will calm down soon. Like, what about that one? Oh, it's going to calm down soon. The kids will grow up, blah, 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 whatever. Do any of these sound familiar to you? Because if they do, I'm here to tell you they're all absolute bullshit. Once again, you're like a unique being and you feel the way you feel. So like comparing yourself to other people shouldn't matter. Like if you see someone else doing something that you have trouble doing, don't compare yourself to them. Everybody has different circumstances in their life. Everybody has different support. Everybody had a different upbringing. Everybody has different challenges, physical, mental, like so many different ones, monetary, right? You can't compare yourself to another person. If somebody else seems to be doing it, it's likely because they have different circumstances. And same with you, right? So once again, you're a unique being and you feel the way you feel. So don't compare the way you feel and say to yourself, you should feel better because of this, this, and this. No. Acknowledge the way you feel and accept it and feel it. Allow yourself to feel it and then do something about it. Okay? Pay attention to what your body and your soul is telling you. Pay attention. The good news is that your nervous system is not broken and it can be reset with simple, consistent practices like grounding, breath work, small acts of daily care, somatic practices. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the power of daily, like micro self-care, okay? And here's the biggest myth about self-care, that it requires hours of free time, expensive retreats, or perfect routines, or expensive products. It definitely doesn't. So 5 intentional minutes a day can change everything, as long as it's consistent. A few deep breaths sends signals to your body that you're safe. A short grounding walk outside in nature can regulate your mood, your blood pressure. Small rituals that are important to you, repeated daily, build resilience and balance, like, a cup of tea at bedtime, a bath before bed, journaling every morning, a quick meditation before work, whatever. These micro practices stack up. They're not just things that are nice to have or nice to do or things that you're just going to do on the weekends. They're a rewiring of your nervous system day by day, moment by moment, and every single minute, second, every moment counts. So I'm here to share, as I talked about at the beginning of the podcast in the intro, a new program that I have. So a while ago, before I get into that, I know what happens when you ignore these stress signals. As I said, I had a stroke at 39, and that's why I started doing the work that I'm doing now. I didn't really know how to heal myself, and it took me probably about 10 years to kind of take all the courses and learn all the things to really help myself, and I'm still learning today. I am in a continuous state of learning, and we all should be there. But what's really important is learning how to care for yourself in the deepest level. And every individual is different, okay? So what works for me might not work for you. And that's why I share so many things with my clients, so many different opportunities that they can try. Very recently, I did a 5-day gentle reset, okay? And I did it in my Patreon, and it really seemed to resonate with a lot of people. And they were telling me that this is what they wanted, something easy. They were already stressed. They already had no time. And they needed something that took up very little of their time. They didn't want to have to show up. I'm not saying not show up, but show up, showered, makeup on, dressed. They just wanted something easy, as easy as possible, something gentle, something that's not going to trigger them too much. So I created a program based on that kind of that 5-day reset, that gentle reset, these small, gentle little pieces of self-care that we can implement here and there. And here's what makes this program different. It's personalized to you. So you'll complete a questionnaire so that I can create a plan that fits your life. And each week you're going to receive voice notes, journaling prompts, action steps, somatic practices, meditation, breath work, grounding tools, and you'll have access to me with weekly coaching hours. And all of this is done on Voxer, which is a walkie-talkie type app. So it's kind of like a texting app, but you could also send voice messages in real time or just leave voice messages. And that's the beauty of it. I could leave you a voice message at the beginning of the week, and if you don't have time to listen to it until Wednesday or do the self-care practice until Wednesday, then do it Wednesday. But also, I'm creating hours every week where you could show up and ask me questions. And I could answer those questions for you during those hours. You could also leave questions for me that I'll answer to you whenever that question comes up. So if it's not coaching hours, I'll answer it like as soon as possible. But I always encourage my clients to leave me a question as soon as they think of it, or they're going to forget about it. But it's direct real-time support with no pressure to show up, if that makes sense. It all happens, like I said, on Voxer, which is a private app that you can use on your own schedule. And yes, it's on your phone, but you can also use it on your desktop if you're not a phone person. You get to decide when, okay? This isn't about quick fixes. This isn't about building a self-care system that feels, like stressful. It's about one that feels natural, guilt-free, and sustainable over time. It also has to be doable, and it's not a huge investment. So that was something that my clients were telling me also. They were saying, I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to invest in something that I don't even want to show up to, right? So you can try it out for a few months, and if it's not for you, you can cancel. So the founding member price is $25 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. I want you to stay committed for a few months and try it out, okay? And so I'm trying to make this an easy yes. So when you need to do something, you're at that point, but you feel like you don't need another thing that you have to do. This can fill that space. So your next step. You don't need to keep running on empty. Burnout doesn't have to be your story, okay? This is your moment to choose differently, to reset your nervous system, to reclaim your balance, reclaim yourself, and welcome happiness and joy and fun back into your life. Because that's the last step of this self-care, this program. This is, one of the most important steps is adding that joy and that beauty and that love back into your life, right? Having fun again. Because the truth is, you're not meant to do it all alone. You're meant to thrive, and you're meant to be supported, not just by yourself, but by others also. So this is your invitation to join this gentle self-care nervous system reset. I will put the link in the show notes. But if that's not your thing, then just show up every week and listen to the podcast. I'm always I'm always sharing different self-care practices that you could use. And I hope to reach as many people as possible with this podcast so that nobody has to feel the way I felt 10 to 15 years ago. And so if this show resonated with you, or if this podcast, you've been listening for a while and it's been something that has really helped you, if you could share it with somebody else, if you could subscribe, or even if you're listening to this on Apple, you could leave a testimonial there for me. That's really what gets it in front of a lot of people. So I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good week. Bye. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps get the show in front of more people who might need this type of support. And if you're ready to take your everyday self-care even deeper, come join us inside the Soul Aligned Life Patreon. Every week, you'll get new self-care practices and tools to help reduce stress and overwhelm. Plus, we do a monthly reset to keep you aligned and supported always. You'll find the link in the show notes, and I'd love to see you there. Until next time, be sure to take good care of yourself. Love you. Bye. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. I'm not a doctor, and this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It's not a substitute for medical advice, so if you're experiencing health concerns, please reach out to a qualified healthcare professional who can support you personally. Love you.